hate how eyes roll up when you close them. Niggas just look like they're dying. Like you're orgasming. Just Hi. 43 or whatever.
Silence.
We've been vibing.
You didn't start it.
Yeah, I did.
No, you didn't.
Do not disturb, please. It's a distracting thing when your phone goes off.
Didn't. I don't care.
Place it here. Take your phone away from me right now. What you want to talk about? Fuck introductions, bro. What you want to talk about? Let's get it over with.
What do you want to talk about?
What do you want to talk about? You said you wanted some fitness shit you wanted to talk about.
Exercise is good for you.
No, what was it for real though? Or did you forget?
I'm not in the mood. I don't want to move.
You're not. Oh, what? It's in there.
Bag, yeah. It's like
fitness.
Like telling them what to do. I don't know.
No, you're not. This is not about telling people what to do.
You know what?
This is about discussing the information we come across as means of documentation of our journey from.
Yeah. They read the
from the now to the now.
They've read the biography.
From the now to the then now. From the old now to the new now. Niggas actually take
I'm talking
notes.
about that video that I told you to watch. It was 8 minutes long, and you're like, nah, nigga, I'm watching that.
The
It's
Ego?
8 minutes long.
The Ego one?
No, not Ego. Ben Greenfield. It's the one on Instagram.
Bro, you the one who cares about these things.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't care enough to watch an 8-minute video about movement. Get out of here.
You don't move, huh?
You can just walk.
You don't move, huh?
Yeah, I do.
Oh.
So why do I need to learn how to do it?
So you can move better.
Wow.
So you can explore different ranges of motion.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
It sounds like some shit that someone can be interested in and someone else can't be interested in.
Wow, yeah, you're right. Sounds like something.
Sounds like something.
Something. Anyways. Yeah, its podcast is over. So
why?
Yeah,
nigga lost interest.
So it was,
nigga lost interest.
Bro, I was supposed to share this like 4 podcasts ago.
Okay, then it's a podcast now. Share it, nigga. Just read the notes.
Right, so it says building functional muscles for performance and longevity. So it's basically just 2 methods. It's very simple. One is super slow training and the other is functional and fast muscle. So it's exactly what it sounds like. Super slow, you just go super slow.
That's intense.
Yeah, like it's like when you're doing a push-up, it's like you're going down for 30 seconds.
For both the up and down? Oh.
As long as you can. I can't
even
do 30.
I've heard the go down slowly and then push
the negatives and positives, yeah.
Yeah.
That's kind of like the best of both worlds, but this one like it's just distinguishing it between the 2, fast and slow. So it's super slow going down, super slow going up. And it looks silly, like if you're watching someone else do it, but if you're in your body and you're really like
I've
doing
tried
it, it's fucking hard, bro. Yeah. Like you're sweating, like you're shaking. So you're moving the weight slowly as humanly possible.
Because it's more control. It's more control based.
So the optimal tension time, it says 3 to 8 reps. But basically it's because why do we do it? Number one, you're building the muscle at a very low risk of injury, right? So you're not going to the gym and like, I'm gonna do this deadlift that I want a PR today. Nah, just use your body weight and go as slow as you can because you can't really hurt yourself. It's your own weight, right? And you can stop anytime you want. There's no extra added weight.
Do you think body weight training is a better? Well,
I think
you definitely do. Yeah,
I think I do, but it gets to a certain point where it's not enough. But also, some people will argue because
some people get weights.
Some people get the rings, the gymnastic rings, which is just so simple, right?
That's what they do for calisthenics. They have bags that you can put weights in. Yeah, you can put some on your legs.
But the other one, the gymnastic rings, it's like they're literally like exploring ranges of movement that you never do. So you're like hanging with your arms out. So you're using like your
calisthenics
ribs,
is fire.
Bro.
Calisthenics is fire because it doesn't only it's strength, but it's also like movement based and like
it's functional, right? Yeah, because like
Because a lot of it, I think you don't lose flexibility and you don't lose like it's
That's the
killing.
thing. You can lose flexibility, but there's less chances because you are if you're actually doing like organic ranges of movement, then that's gonna directly transfer over into your sport. If you're doing a bear crawl, like that's gonna help you land a fall or like push people off or hold people off. Whereas if you're just doing a bicep curl or isolating your muscles, it's like science, right? Like you isolate a certain compound and then you make a pill out of it, but the pill has side effects.
Yeah.
So same thing with that. Like you train your biceps and only your biceps.
Because niggas will be jacked, but they can't move.
Yeah, like literally, like I had one of my friends come to the yoga class, and you know the one where you go like this, that one.
Mm-hmm.
We were doing that for like maybe 5 minutes straight, and his like I haven't seen him since high school, or I rarely see him, but his arms was huge. His biceps were huge, but he was the first one to give out. So it's like, what's the point of all the movement, you know?
Yeah.
And he plays soccer too, so that like 100% that's just slowing him down.
Yeah.
Because he used to be the exact opposite type of player, explosive, close control with the ball.
Mm-hmm.
But now he's kind of like he still has control, but he can't explode. So he loses that like extra second.
Yeah. A lot of people are just super into just crafting. Actually, no. Some people
Crafting,
aren't
like,
even
body?
into crafting their body because some people literally just like
Oh yeah, they
guess
just
the
want
look.
big arms or like want to fit into that shirt.
it's just to look like it's almost as if it's some survival shit just to look like the alpha
And
male.
the thing is, like the best way to like if that's your goal, the best way to go about it is functional training. Because okay, why do we like women with small waists? Because proportionally, their shoulders are bigger and their hips are wide, which signifies power in the upper body. Where do you get your punching power from? It's not your biceps. It's your whole back. Everything like is combined, right? But your shoulders. Have you seen Conor McGregor's shoulders?
Bro, that fight was crazy.
Fucking huge.
Was
man,
fire.
that was crazy.
Bro, I've never seen that before. Like I've never
Like
seen
100%. I was telling you, there's no other person he could train that with other than Ido Portal.
That's pretty unconventional move to do.
And it's so
It was
like
a fast fight, wasn't it?
40 seconds.
Word?
40 seconds. He fucking got the shoulder. His nose started to bleed. And then he just like he landed a toe. He landed his fucking big toe on his fucking chin, bro. And he went down.
It was
40 seconds. Right out the gate. He was like, "Okay, I'm
yeah, because they did the thing where they hold each other, and then he literally hit him with his shoulder like 3 times.
Yeah,
like once in the eye, once in the nose, and then once I think.
And the guy was like, "Okay, he's not gonna do that again." Fucking kept going.
On the third one, you could see he lost full balance, and then from there it was game over. That's fucking crazy.
And you know why? Like,
was it a rematch too?
No, I don't think so. And like, people in the UFC, they're so like, I don't know if they do, but they sort of almost fear him because they've never seen anybody move like he does, right? He's like, it's weird. Like Jose Aldo, he knocked him out in like 12 seconds. No one's expecting his movements.
Yeah.
And the way he trains is not weights. He trains mostly coordination with Ito, coordination and movement.
Yeah, because it's what it is. Because it's really just a game of who can throw the person off the first. Because as soon as you're thrown off, it's not necessarily a thing of strength. It's just a thing of
weights.
Where do you hit the person and like how do you hit them?
And you need to be clever enough to like...
And you need to be clever. That's the cool thing about... I think that's why people like fighting so much. Well, from being just fucking savages, primitively just savages. It's you see how much of a chess match it is. Like the Conor McGregor and Mayweather fight, which is one of the only fights I've ever seen. The thing that Mayweather was doing was just tiring the dude out. That's all he did. Defense. He just stayed on defense until McGregor was tired, and he just attacked, and that's it. So it's just a game of he probably knew that McGregor that's how he like it. It's a whole game
because it's a different sport too, right? UFC is like shorter, while boxing is 12 rounds.
Yeah.
Oh, so it's like a stamina thing. So he knew like if he drags it out, he's winning for sure.
Yeah.
And Conor were just like, okay, I need to knock him out.
Yeah, UFC is all about getting the knock. Yeah. UFC is weird because it's like boxing is more controlled, it feels. UFC is like, it's cage, first of all. And it's like when boxing a person's down, you keep punching them until the ref's like, I don't know what the criteria is for when someone's out. But UFC, they'll punch the person for a nice 10 seconds while they're down before they call it off.
I think it depends on the referee and the other person too. Because that match, the recent Conor McGregor one, he's Like for 10 whole seconds, he's getting his ass whooped. But the referee's like, no, I'm gonna let it go because he knew that the guy was like, he's a tough guy.
Yeah.
So he could have had the chance. He gave him the opportunity
to get back up. That's so crazy, man. That's such a like. I would like to learn MMA and shit because it's so technical.
So technical
with like handles and like how you. Because I've seen street fights where you can tell the person's been trained. The thing about MMA is it's more realistic than the like karate and shit. Because MMA is like
it's a mix.
That's how niggas fight. Niggas are savages. Niggas will not just be like, bow and then let's get started, and it's like all structured. Niggas will launch at you and they'll just throw fight. Like you've seen fights on Twitter and YouTube and shit. It's literally just guys going like this until one hits. Until you get to one of those fights where the guy seems like he knows what he's doing. It's still barbaric, but there's more technique into it. I think that's what MMA is.
Yeah, and it's also like it's everything, man. Like
yeah, I feel like it's a mix of
that's what MMA is, mixed martial arts.
Yeah,
so,
funny.
Have you ever seen? I saw this like on Twitter. Tim Ferriss he retweeted something. It was a wrestling match in super slow motion, bro. Fucking milliseconds. Like you can see the milliseconds of each opponent, like each person sensing the other person's weight and quickly countering it, like overhand, under, like literally.
And that's like wrestling, not the.
It's like Olympics.
Theatrical. Yeah. Wrestling is definitely interesting. Yeah. Because it's just what's the point of it? Just get the person to tap out, right? So it's literally just
get them on the ground where they're least.
It's just handles.
Yeah, helpless.
It's just handles. So it's like arm bar and fucking all that cool shit. But the thing I like about it is the struggle because both those people know the different handles. So it's when one's happening, they know it's happening. So they have to counter it. And then the other one knows any kind of other handle the other one may try. So it's all a game of how do you get to that spot. And each person is stopping the other person from getting there.
Trying to corner the other guy.
That's so fucking crazy. Like, how do we come up with these things? Like, what's wrong with us?
I mean,
we're just bored.
We've been alive for so long.
We're just bored.
And war. Like, if you're going to war, you don't just go in with a sword, right? What if you lose your sword? Then you're...
Sword?
Yeah.
I mean sword.
Sword, like way back. What did you think people fought with?
I'm like, we use bombs now.
Yeah, of course. But like before, like...
Oh, yeah.
Now there's no use for bombs.
Bro, imagine
like,
a war with swords. It's crazy.
It's grimy, bro. Like... And the crazy thing is, like I see it on like anime or like whatever TV shows. There's never people teaming up. Everyone's like busy. Everyone's busy fighting their own guy. So like whenever, I don't know if it's actually how it happens in real life, but it's like 1-on-1 against like thousands of other people.
And then those cultures are so honor based. So it's like that's why the 1-on-1 is so respected. Even though like even though the nigga could lose, it's like you gotta lose with honor. You can't jump this nigga. You have to beat him by yourself. If you lose, you lose.
There's a saying that like once you fight your enemy, like you love him. Like you know exactly what he's going through because at that point you guys are like literally fighting for each other's lives. You're on the exact same platform.
In a way, you're kind of united and like connected with that person in a way.
Yeah.
Because it's such a dance. Oh, fighting. Bro, fighting.
Bro, that's why like this stuff, like the functional movement stuff is like, it's so fascinating to me because like the West, people, or just people in general, like they're so like misunderstood on how to be healthy.
Surface level information.
Biceps, you know. And now it's coming up like the Ito Portal stuff. I've been kind of doing it for like the past month. And you know the reptilian crawl?
I think so. I think I've seen it.
So I can finally do it now. And I wasn't able to do it before. And that skill actually transfers to fucking everywhere, bro. Like your shoulders are being challenged. Yeah, there's
definitely
your hips,
functionalism.
your core,
yeah. So interesting.
So on back to this. So it was a super slow training. So like going super slow, the other benefit of it is so people with high blood pressure or whatever, like heart conditions, the blood is actually rushing more to your extremities. So
if you're going slow?
So it doesn't, yeah. So you're actually getting the benefits of cardio. So the blood rushes to your extremities and back to your heart. So you're getting cardio, but you're not like, you're not risking your heart too much. So those are the benefits of
do you know
super slow
why?
training. Why?
Like, do you know why it does that?
Oh, because you're like, try it. Like if you're doing a push-up really slow, your like most of the pressure
is on
your extremities, even if you're like squatting, right? Whereas if you're exploding, it's quick.
So it doesn't have necessary time.
It doesn't necessarily affect extremities as much. So this is really great for having like doing strength and cardio training all at once.
A lot of body
and
shit.
the prescribed time, it says optimal tension time is 3 to 8 reps, which is crazy because you can complete a workout in like 10, 20 minutes and be fucking exhausted.
Short, high intensity workout. Yeah.
High intensity, but super slow.
That's what they recommend for ectomorphs, which is my body type. When I was super into it, it was like just not a lot of reps, and then very controlled movement.
So like strength based.
And then long spaces between reps, so like 1 or 2 or 3 minutes, and then you just get to the next set.
That's the concept behind this stuff, or like why I do it every hour, because it's an hour. I do it maybe
one set, and then
I do one set 50%, no more, and then I do it again the next hour. So I'm building volume.
Then you can do it all day.
All day,
and
then by the end of the week, I've already racked like how many? Probably 100.
I'm these.
You
By
know?
the end of the week, I'm these. I got these wrists.
Yeah, and that's with everything. It's not just with the grip. You want to improve your push-ups, squats, pull-ups. And I learned this from Pavel Tatsulin, who is he's the guy who brought the kettlebell to the U.S. You know what the kettlebell is?
Is it the thing?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's the thing Aubrey Marcus be going
Yeah,
crazy
yeah.
with. It's fucking...
I think that's the club, iron steel club. But it's like the same concept because the weight is like off balanced. So your muscles and your brain have to constantly like adjust. Whereas, if you hold a stick from the center, both the sides are balanced, 50-50. But if you hold it from the very end, all the weight's on one side. So you have to like
I think
twist.
it's the center of mass, something like that.
Yeah. So you have to twist in order to keep it steady.
Mm-hmm.
So that's already something your brain has to do.
A lot of
On top of like lifting, then your joints are getting stressors. Your joints are also getting stressors. Whereas if you just do like linear movement, you don't get any of that. And that's why people get injured. Their joints can't catch up to their muscles. And then the second part is just fast, like super fast and functional, which is explosion. Yeah. So the first one is a tow truck, if you want to think of it that way. It doesn't go slow. It doesn't go fast, but it can pull a lot of weight. Whereas the second one is like a Ferrari. Zoom. Can't pull a lot of weight, but it's like you can pierce.
Yeah.
And if you can pierce, like it's power.
Yeah.
So explosive movements. So muscle. Okay. And the thing is, your muscle eats a lot of energy. So people who are like huge is not necessarily the best if you're actually trying to like transfer it over to functionality, because your body has to carry it first of all, and it burns energy no matter what. So even if you're carrying, Ido Portal says, why did I lose muscle? It got in my way. I can't move the way I want to when I'm that big. So in this sense, if you do it this way, you don't gain the muscle. You don't necessarily gain muscle, but you gain power.
Strength.
Power. Strength is more like the tow truck versus a Ferrari. This one's a Ferrari.
Oh.
So it can be small, but it packs a big punch.
Oh, okay.
So excess muscle is bad because the more bulk you have, the lower performance you're going to have, which means less longevity.
More weight to carry.
More weight to carry, more injuries. Alternative to this is, the alternative to bigger muscles generally means more strength, right? Mm-hmm. Whereas the alternative can be each muscle fiber is as explosive as possible. So you can still be small guy, basically Bruce Lee. Packs a massive punch, that's tiny frame.
And it's fast too.
1-inch punch, bro. Like, you know? So the idea is quality over quantity. So
do you think he yells as a functional thing? Or
I think so. Because when you hear a tennis match.
Exhale, huh?
Exhale. Try to do the reverse. Try to throw a ball when you're inhaling. You're going to lose a lot of power.
Yeah, it's just exhaling.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Right? And it's second nature to us.
He's a crazy dude.
Think about it.
He's a crazy
dude.
And
the benefit to this is actually there's a lot of anti-aging benefits to the functional muscle because, well, I don't know why. I just wrote it down. But like, just by common sense, like, you're not big, but you still have a lot of strength in your muscles. So over time, like you can catch yourself falling, etc. Because that's a big reason why old people or seniors like get injured, right? They fall, can't pick themselves back up. And how do you do this?
Old niggas.
Explosive power moves. So clean and jerks, kettlebell swings, jump squats, and clap push-ups. So anything explosive. And the result of this is functional muscle and longevity.
Oh, I can't wait until I get to fucking working out. Can't
What's
wait.
stopping you?
I'm learning other things. The more things you're learning at
That's
once,
a great
the less quality will be in your practices. I'm literally just a scholar and a meditator right now.
That's nonsense.
That's really all I do with a little bit of show watching on the side. Literally, when I didn't even have time yesterday. I watched half of film yesterday and finished it this morning.
Yeah, me, man, I'm still having trouble waking up. I'm supposed to do these workouts like first.
You know what's helping me? Something I think you should invest money in. My light is, you know how my light is connected to my Wi-Fi and my Google, right? On my phone app, I can set waking times. You know how it's you need, like, sometimes you don't wake up because it's dark in your room, and it's so easy to just go back to sleep when it's so dark. And when there's light in your face, it's just like it prevents you from sleeping, right?
Yeah.
So I can set it to whatever, but this morning it was from 5:30 to 6. So 5:30 it turns on very dim, and from 5:30 to 6 gradually gets brighter. So then before my alarm, usually I wake up because the lights and like my bed, my head is right under the light.
Especially in winter, it's so tough because it doesn't. There's no light until like 7:30.
And it's cold,
Yeah,
so you're super comfy under the.
Are you still sleeping on the floor?
I sleep on my mat. It's not crazy. I've never slept better, bro. When I removed my mattress and got the very almost flat,
like the futon.
The very folding mattress one, sleep got better, and now I stopped sleeping with pillows. And I don't know if it's placebo. Well, everything's placebo. I don't know. Like the last. How long have I been doing it? Like 5, maybe last week. It's like since I've started doing it, I wake up so much better.
I'm gonna try that tonight.
But it's also because I've been going to sleep properly too. Because I meditate before sleep now, and it's not a short it's a 30-minute meditation before sleep. I think that plays a factor too.
Lying down or sitting?
No, sit. Like every meditation I've done so far, I've just been sitting and cross-legged. It's crazy. Your body gets fucking loud. Yeah. Like your body gets loud, bro. One useful way, we'll close that. One useful thing I came across, which is really helping the meditations, is I think a lot of people think they're not supposed to be thinking at all. But I think when you there's steps, there's levels to this shit. When you're first starting, from this Ramdas lecture on meditation, when he first started, his whole thing was when he got there, they taught him how to meditate, and then they were like, all right, do it, show me that you understand. So the way they taught it was, put your hand on your what's it called? Belly, diaphragm. Stomach, no, diaphragm. Belly, stomach, whatever, abdomen. And then breathe normally, and then you'll notice that it just goes up and down. Okay, now when you've got that down, you could just sit in your meditation, whatever, close your eyes. Don't even focus on your breath, because focusing on your abdomen rising and falling is basically focused on it. And it's easier to spot because sometimes your breath is so subtle.
Yeah, and you can't tell the difference between in and out.
Yeah, so your only job is to watch it rise and fall. And then your only thing to do in your head is every time it rises, you go rising, you think rising, and every time it falls, you think falling. It's 1 point meditation, which is one of the entry levels. At a certain point, you don't even need to do that anymore because that drops, because you need to get non-attached to that too. So the first one is that. And then when he figured that out, they were like, all right, now we may begin. The nigga leaves the room, closes it, and basically his whole thing was 3 hours in the morning, 3 hours in the afternoon, and 3 hours at night, in the evening.
That's crazy.
It's 9 hours of just sitting and rising, falling, and everything that comes up trying to stop you from paying attention to. You know how annoying it gets? Do you know how fucking crazy and psycho. Like, bro, the the comparison with the mind with the monkey is the most accurate. A drunk monkey who's been bitten by a scorpion. Like, that's literally what it is. It's hysterical. The wild shit your just brain
everything
just says.
Comes up.
Everything. Like, literally things you haven't thought about for the longest time. Things that your brain all of a sudden wants to be responsible.
And it's crazy because, like, if you look at it from the Vipassana perspective, which is the purifying the mind from thoughts, it's almost like you're breaking down these barriers that have been, like, that you used to pathologize everything. And once you think about it and then you become aware of it, oh, I'm thinking about it. You break down that door. It doesn't exist anymore. Now on to the next, on to the next, on to the next.
But that's the thing. Now it's just entertainment.
What do you mean?
At this point, it's just like, oh, this thought again. Like, that's literally at a certain point, because, you know, when you don't really understand time that much if you don't check your time. It's a big game to not, like, time-based meditation it can be a game because you anticipate the end, and that itself is a problem to it because you're supposed to your only worry in that moment, your only purpose is just rising, falling. Like, how much time has been should not matter, but your brain tries to make that a thing too.
Over?
Like, when's it gonna be over? What if my timer malfunctioned? What if blah, blah, blah? Like, what if my phone died? Blah, blah, blah. So you like, as soon as you open your eyes to check, you lost because you align yourself with that thought. And it's a big game of your body is yelling. But funny enough, as soon as you're done, your body all of a sudden doesn't hurt anymore. Like, you think your body's gonna break, your back's like going, like it's just your back sucks or your body's just not made for that position. But as soon as you're done, it doesn't leave any lasting thing. If it was actually unhealthy to stay in that position for that long, when you'd be done, you'd feel it and it would linger, but it doesn't. It just goes away. As soon as I step out of the fucking meditation pose, forget the pain. So it's this weird thing, especially when you meditate more often, you start to have a weird relationship with them when they come up, the thoughts, because you know what's going to happen now and you're more used to it. So, like, it just keeps coming up, and you start to see themes and reoccurring ones, like ones that, like, every meditation they're for sure to come in a few times. Me, I'm perverted.
Family, love,
I'm perverted. So there's always
sex.
some shit. So it's always some shit about sex, and it's noticeable because sex is like such a big thing for a human, right?
Yeah.
So it's like I'll feel it. But today was the first day where I felt it, and I was like, look at this nigga. I literally smiled. I was like, here it goes again. So you start to see, like, things that are more ingrained in you than other things. Like, some things just come and leave, but some things, like, come every single time. And that is when you start to learn about yourself. That's very interesting. Very, very interesting shit, bro. It's
imagine doing that for 3 hours, 9 hours a day. Oh
30 minutes feels like a fucking eternity. Niggas do this shit, bro. All day.
You're gonna love Vipassana when you go, like.
Oh yeah, this feels like preparation for it. Actually, Vipassana is 3 times a day too, right? It's 3 hours a day.
An hour, yeah.
That's fucking crazy. I can't believe you did that. That's so funny.
I did it twice, and it was very challenging, bro.
Yeah.
It never gets easier, actually.
I don't think so. I think controversial statement from the Zen book. He said, once you find pleasure in pain is when you'll find enlightenment and you'll understand the meaning of practice.
No, I completely understand
because but a lot of people, people's relationship with pain.
Yeah. I'm gonna die right now. I'm hungry.
Yeah,
it's
especially with hunger. Yeah. It's like that's such a loud feeling that like people think like it's because their body's disintegrating or some shit. It's just eating itself, bro. Yeah. Like it's not that serious. But
it's not even. It's your mind telling your body that it's time. It's time for the usual thing.
Yeah.
That we always do. Do
you fast every day?
Until like 2-ish.
Yeah, I do
11 2.
From whenever my last meal is, I go at least 12 hours. So yesterday I ate at like 8, easy. And then I was gonna watch a movie and I'm like, oh fuck, do I sacrifice breakfast just to eat at 11? And
I still eat breakfast?
And I ate, if I start fasting early enough, I'll eat it. If I went to bed at like, if I last ate at like 7, I wake up at 8.
For me, I'm having difficulty not eating late. Like eating, like
I love breakfast.
I can not eat until like 6 p.m. But
I love breakfast.
I have trouble, like, it'll be like 9 and I'm still eating, which affects my sleep. So that's the one thing I need to cut down on.
So far, my thing is just intermittent every day with a 24-hour fast.
It's getting so much easier.
Yeah, the 24 hours is getting late.
Yeah.
Yeah. I notice it and I'm like...
Yeah, it's boring now.
Like, okay.
We can start doing 30s. 30
I'm thinking of doing 72 every month. I think that'd be possible.
I think that's too much.
Why?
I don't know. Because, like, I feel like you're not supposed to do it too often fast. But it doesn't really matter, right?
I'll look into it.
Because data does
30 hours every week. Yeah.
And 72.
I like 30.
30 is nice. And I've heard on podcasts.
Nice number.
I've heard on podcasts that people do the 72 hours like 4 times a year. So every like 3-ish months.
Fair.
Because if you do it 72 hours every month, I mean, that's very possible. Very possible.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it's like, are you going to do it? Because early wins are very important. You know, like if you're not going to not do it this month, then you're going to be like, fuck, when am I going to do it? But if you just set an intention, I will do it. This is the one of the 4 times in the year that I have to do it. I'm going to do it.
It's an event.
It's an event rather than like commodity.
Fucking another cool point that was brought up is the whole concept of renunciation. And you know, that's a big thing. That's a big thing with monks. And not only this, because I got the Sadhguru one just from watching and reading about, like, because from I should have brought it today. That last section, that third section of Be Here Now, everything you need to know about if you're into spirituality, every single step you need to take that you want to maybe, like, if you really are serious and you want to know every single aspect of it, like everything in that universe, like he breaks it down. Like anything you need to know is in there. Like a cookbook is that's what it's called. That's what a section is called. Cookbook for a healthy or spiritual life or something like that.
Boil it down for me.
I can't boil it down because everything is just like it's preparation. It's there's a part on sleeping, which is where he suggested the no pillow thing. And I tried it and I was like, okay, maybe there's a difference because your spine is straighter. Yeah. When you sleep without a pillow.
But the
and
thing
straight
I noticed
spine is a whole.
Your head isn't like your spine's actually not that much straighter, because like your neck has a curve. So
if you sleep on I think the flatter the surface, I think maybe might have a thing with that. But so far I don't feel any pain when I wake up. I've had a problem of actually waking up with back pain. In the past few days I haven't had that. So I don't know.
Yeah, the back pain's like gone ever since sleeping on the floor.
Yeah, I don't experience that. There's a part on this asanas, and he gives you a yoga routine. And it's funny because we say yoga, but there's so many different yogas. Yeah. It's
yoga
hilarious.
is just the union of all aspects of life.
Yeah. There's asanas. There's a whole. Is there? I think so. Because there's a part of it that involves and he was talking about his routine when he'd wake up. There was like a part of it that's breath work. It's breath work, I think asanas, and then a meditation for something, and then there's a part on. There's 2 sections on renunciation. Because the thing with renunciation is, if you renounce something and you're still attached to it, you're not doing any progress. Like if you're giving up sex and all you think about is sex, and you're still like, I can't have sex today. Like the whole thing about it's been 365 days. 5 weeks.
Like, since my last cigarette.
Like 2 hours and 5 minutes and 2 seconds since my last cigarette. You haven't quit.
Yeah. Your mind is still
like fully on it, even though it's been 365 days. So it's the whole thing with renunciation. And the whole concept of it is not necessarily you need to give up everything. Is that you need to give up your attachment to everything. Why? I think one of the quote is like, why give up the world when I could just give up my attachment to the world? You don't need to stop doing the shit you do day to day. You just stop being so attached to the shit you do day to day. They're just all happenings.
Moderation, right?
Yeah.
Moderation helps so much.
They're just all happenings. So it's just like moderation helps because you don't indulge, but you get enough. Yeah. So if you want more than the
and also threshold, the same thing. It's like early wins, right? How are you gonna go cold turkey on an addiction that you've had for 10 years? That's dumb. Like, start
you need
slow.
to first change your mindset about the addiction itself. Because if you go cold turkey, it's just like it's been 5 days.
Isn't that how
It's
Amy
been
Winehouse
6
died?
days.
She was addicted to
I don't know.
alcohol,
I don't know the
she
story
just
of that.
quit. And then like the withdrawal from alcohol is actually very, very dangerous. So she just died. That's what I heard of, at least.
I mean, that would make sense. Sometimes withdrawals can actually like cause so much fucking pain that you actually die from it. Isn't that crazy? Like the stopping of doing something that's killing you.
That's the poison.
Stopping of doing it, something that is detrimental to your health, also is detrimental to your health. So it's the whole thing of weaning off. Yeah, man, that shit. Yeah, so that's a crazy thing because I think that's a very, very important point to consider because it's the thing with meditation and the whole thing with traces. That's what the traces is trying to explain. When you're done your meditation, if it was a lot of people, especially the long ones, because I've noticed this, the first thought that comes in when you're done is like, oof, that was crazy. Oof, that was good. Oof, that was bad. How was this compared to the other ones? That's traces. Your goal, your purpose is to just do it, and then that's it. You just sit, and then that's it. Like when you're done sitting, you're done sitting. If you're just walking away, and that's why that cone exists. When the two monks were walking,
The cone?
you know what cones is?
Oh, Koan, yeah.
Yeah.
Cones.
When the two guys were walking, and then the girl needed help getting picked up, and the monk picked him up, and the other monk, like few minutes or hours later, was like, I've been trying to not think about that, but like it's boggling me. Why did you pick it up? We're not allowed to do any physical contact with women. He's like, it seems like you haven't. It seems like you haven't dropped that yet.
I dropped her like an hour ago.
Yeah, I dropped her, and you seem to still be fucking carrying her around. So it's the same thing. It's like. It's the whole concept of every moment is just a moment, and when things finish happening, he's like, let go.
I'm still trying to like fully wrap my. I don't think I will. I'm still trying to wrap my head fully around that. That there is no other time than now. Literally, World War II and Hitler happened now.
They don't exist,
but from before.
They don't exist.
It's not in the past. It was just now.
And the only reason why we talk about it, the whole concept,
this moment.
It's literally survival. Past and future are literally just survival mechanisms that we've developed, and now we just adapted to new shit. Past is the main one that causes most suffering. Future is more anxiety based, but past is like regret. Regret is
it's
so
the stories
toxic.
you tell yourself.
Yeah, because future is like there's so many variables to how things can go. Like let's say if I walk left instead of right, if I speak to this person, don't speak to this person, life will be completely different. But the thing is, you won't know how different
it's
it was.
Not up to you.
Once you pick one, all the other variables just cease to exist.
They fall into place.
They're in different universes if you believe in multiverse, right? So if you're if you're going into a decision and you make the decision, before you make the decision, you're anxious about what are the consequences gonna be. And after you do it and the consequences don't happen, you start to wonder how would have it been had I done something different. And then that's when it becomes. So, but yeah, it's just present. Yeah. It's just fucking the whole thing with past is because we don't want to repeat mistakes. So we must remember shit that happened. That's why memory. So yeah, the reason why Hitler is such a big deal is because it was such a fuck up in humanity. And then it's like we don't want to have that happen again. Yeah, it's weird. It's weird. Let's just have all these people round them up and just murder them for like 4 or 5 plus years.
Alex Jones' theory about that was so funny, bro.
What?
Wasn't funny. He was like, okay, these niggas were definitely influenced by aliens, and not the good kind.
The bad aliens.
The bad aliens.
Interdimensional aliens. The demons. And demons and angels. Yeah, it was weird. It gets, bro. But yeah, that's the thing. You can't go into this shit expecting an outcome. And that's the biggest thing because the ego adapts so well and so fast. So your ego, when you get into the spiritual path, it's so anti-ego. So you're just doing it itself is like, oh, I don't want to meditate today. Yeah. Oh, it's so boring or whatever. Tomorrow. When you start getting comfortable with meditating, your ego's like, fucking Ram fucking put it perfectly. It was like, you'll beat. That's my. And I can't say that. It's a secret. I can't talk about it. Not the one Dada gave us. But
yeah, I know. Just, enjoy. Tell no one.
He basically just achieved something. I think it was either like a samadhi or something important. Yeah. Something important. And then he was like, you'll accomplish these things. And then you'll hear the ego tap you on the back and go, good job, man. And that's the thing. Because when you start getting deep into it, your ego starts to try to wrap itself around the practice itself. So then you have to let go of
spiritual materialism, right?
Yeah, basically. It's like, I meditate 3 times a day for 30 minutes a day.
It's like that Karen Moonstone page. That's genius to me. When I first saw it, I was like, what the fuck?
That's
like,
when New Age becomes corny. That's why people can't accept it, because the New Age people think they're so ahead of people because you do get, no matter how egocentric you are when you get into it, you do get the powers. Like you do get the powers.
You get the stillness, all of the, everything.
You get all of it.
Yeah.
So when you have it and you see most people don't have it, you start to have this weird God complex. That's why the messianic, whatever it's called, that's a
Messiah
big
complex.
Yeah, that's a big thing, because it's like you start to feel like you're so special. That's one thing that happens when people invest in psychedelics too much. It's like, I know secrets. I've seen the meaning of life and no one else has, and it's my duty.
Geo every week.
And it's my duty to help
everyone.
No, I just enjoy this shit. Bro, if you don't want to get into it, I don't give a fuck. And it's not the answer. I know that too. It's just, it's not the answer.
It's a tool.
If you come down, it's not the answer. And that's the thing. Spiritualism, you get high
forever
and you just stay there.
You stay there.
But there is so much shit you need to battle against before you get to that point. But the thing is, it's not even a battle. Like, it's not a battle, but it is, because the worldly thing, you're leaving form basically. Oh, Ramdas put it perfectly. Spiritual practice is a battle against nature.
Nature.
Yeah, because you're going into the formless. Nature is form, right? Nature is trees, it's people, it's blah, blah, blah.
Right, it's this body.
When you're going into meditation, you literally go into God, and God is the formless, empty. You're becoming empty. That's why monks just silent, and when you speak to them, they're just here,
They're
just sucking everything in because they're so empty. And that's the thing.
Nobody's home.
You leave form so that you can play within form. Because when you finally reach the formless, you can interact with the
form you want
without getting attached to it. And that's the
Makes
whole thing
sense.
about non-attached doing. And you're just aware, and it just happens, and it happened, and that's it. Oh, bro, that concert we went to 5 years ago, remember that? You remember how lit that was? I was lit.
I still have the video.
I still have the video. I barely watch it, but I leave it here just in case, if I want to just relive the
I don't
moment.
even remember watching it with
exist.
my own eyes.
Doesn't exist. I was
that?
just recording. I have this 5-hour recording of every single fucking show.
That I saw through pixels of my own phone.
It's hilarious. But yeah, bro.
You want to end it there?
Yeah. That's good. Let's clap for ourselves. Good job. Let me pat you on the back. Good job, bro. Good job, bro. Dab me up, bro. Good job, bro. Don't give us money.
Give us money separately.
Give us love, bro. You know what I'm saying?
Give us money individually, but not us.
It's a crazy concept. You just brought up there.
Which one?
Give us money individual, but not us money. Give each of us
Give the separation of self.
Give each of us individually some money.